Welcome to the Shark Bite Show, where we dive into the stories of our members, coaches, friends, and family of Shark Bite Fitness and Nutrition. All right, let's roll. All right, guys, today we have Wynter Lightfoot. I'm super excited about this podcast. I've been trying to get her to do it since before we started. She's a coach here at Shark Bite Fort Myers. She's also our client success manager. We'll talk a little bit about that. She does a ton of our personal training and group class coaching at the Fort Myers gym. And yeah, we're going to dive into a whole bunch of stuff here. So, Wynter, thank you.
Sweet, thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Let's talk about a couple things. So, first, who are you? You know, how long have you been interested in like functional fitness and CrossFit, and what brought you to Shark Bite?
I'm Wynter Lightfoot. Functional fitness probably like 6 years, but I grew up playing sports. That's all I did. My parents would have to drag me back into the house. I played everything and anything. And I tried a lot of stuff, but this is the one thing that's stuck and that I have a passion for, and I'm super excited just to be able to work out and be with people.
Cool. Yeah, I like being around other people too. It's nice that we can do that, you know? So now, like you said, you've tried a whole bunch of forms of fitnessing, right? Like, what have you tried, and what did you enjoy about it? What did you not enjoy about it? And what got you to stick with this?
So I played basketball in college, so I didn't really, we just lifted weights, not well, as I later learned, but we just lifted weights. I didn't really have to do anything. It was, I could eat what I want, and we trained a lot, and we had practice, and we had games, so I just ate whatever the heck I wanted to do. Then I soon learned afterwards that once you stop working out a lot, and you keep eating like crap, that you gain a lot of weight. So
I had the same realization when I got out of the Army.
Yeah.
I ate like crap all the time, and then when I wasn't working out for 4.5 hours a day, I put on weight.
I was like, huh. I literally got into college and lost 15 pounds because I was at the gym all the time. I was like, this is great, class 3 hours a day, and I would just work out the rest of the day and go play basketball and do all that stuff. And then probably 2 months out of college and working, being an adult, I had gained 30 pounds.
Oh wow.
And I was like, okay, well, time to join a gym. So I started at a Gold's Gym, just kind of working out. I've done duathlon, so run, bike. I've done half marathons. I did Go Ruck when it first started, which is cool for people that were not in the military, but probably not cool for people that were in the military. Nobody would volunteer to do that. Let's see, Spartan races. I tried jiu-jitsu for a while. I did some bodybuilding stuff. I did powerlifting stuff, and then I ended up on CrossFit. But not really, because I just wanted to do Olympic lifting. I didn't want to do CrossFit.
Yeah. So what got you to go, because Olympic lifting, cleans, snatches, stuff like that, that's fun.
Yeah.
What got you to get off that and then to get into CrossFit or functional fitness?
So I am a huge Matty Rogers fan, Olympic weightlifter, and I was like, I want to do that. That looks badass. Yeah. All you do is lift heavy weights and put them over your head and all this stuff. So I ended up reaching out to a local CrossFit when I lived in New Jersey. Rest in peace, CrossFit Bayonne. And he was like, yeah, we're doing a 6-week cycle. It's Tuesdays and Thursday nights. You can come, and you don't have to do CrossFit. You can just lift. Sweet. Went, and then it was towards the end. I remember it was literally that last Thursday, and he was like, well, if you want, just come tomorrow. Just try a class, and when you hate it, I'll leave you alone. I'm like, sweet. Never stopped doing CrossFit after that day. It's when you're super. I was a super competitive person with myself, and I was like, oh wow, these people are kicking my ass. I thought I was super fit, and I was I just remember there was running, and I just hate running, and I was like, oh my god, I suck. I'm walking. I was like, wow, I have a long way to go.
It's funny how that happens, right? I remember that exact same feeling you're talking about. I did my first one, and this guy who I was certain I would be better than. He wiped the floor with me, man. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and instead of getting upset about it, I was like, I want to get way better.
Oh yeah, I was redemption. What time can I come Monday? Yeah, exactly. How much is it? Here's my card. Sign me up.
It's so funny how that always works, right? It's something people are kind of scared to try.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Understandably. But then once you do it, you're like, oh my god, this is so much fun.
Yeah. I was lucky because I think former athletes, sometimes it takes a long time, and then they find that competition 10 years later. It was pretty relatively soon after I was done, and I was like, this is a new challenge. This is awesome, and I know it's I'm not going to be good at any of this stuff, so this is going to be fantastic. I can only get better.
Right. Yeah.
I'm so far from my peak. I'm so far from my potential. Let's see what happens.
I completely understand that. So, what about specifically once you got into CrossFit classes? What about that kept you engaged in it?
I think for me, it was like you could see yourself getting better every day. It could be anything. Like literally that first day, I was like walking. I was like I could run a full basketball game for like 2 hours, and I can't run around the block like 5 times. Like this is embarrassing because people want to know what you did before, and I'm like, oh yeah, as a college athlete, like yeah, I played basketball, and then I'm like, wow, I'm freaking out of shape, and I shouldn't be claiming that I was an athlete. And the like wide variety of people that were there. It was, and everybody wanted something different, but we're all doing the same thing. And I thought that was really cool. I mean, I just missed being in a group. I had worked out by myself pretty much for so long. Even like doing half marathon training, a lot of times you're like chugging along, freaking running by yourself. Or like there was one day I had to do 12 miles on the treadmill because it was like snowing. It was awful. That's rough. It was awful, and it's like, then it got to the point where I was just doing it just because I'm like, I want to be done with this. I just want to do the race. I just want to be over. Like I already trained for like 12 weeks. Like I got to get it over with. And this is like, I don't know who I'm going to be working out with. Like, it's going to be all different. Who's going to be pushing me? What are we going to be doing? He was super sneaky. Like, he never put the workouts out beforehand. So, like, I literally didn't know what the hell I was getting into. I was like, yeah, like, well, I'll be like up till like midnight. Like, he's going to post it at like 1? Is he going to post it at midnight? Like, all right, forget it. I'm just going to show up. So, like, I literally didn't know what I was walking into.
It's cool to hear that, right? Because I think we've talked about this not on the show. Like, sometimes people think coaches started good at this stuff, and we weren't, right? Like
I've never been good at anything. Nothing has ever been like, I'm really good at that.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Like, I'm not a natural athlete by any means, right? Like, it takes a lot of work to be mediocre. Yeah. And it's cool to hear that, like on your first workout, you're having a hard time running,
So bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
And then we look at where you are now, and you're doing like 50 toes to bar in a row. So. Well, cool. All right, so. Personal note, like, you and I have known each other a long time, right? I remember you being a member at our gym for a short period of time.
That was,
many, many, many years ago. And it was cool because you didn't live in our city.
Yeah, I was like, I ended up in Cape Coral, and I lived in Fort Myers.
Yeah. And then, we were both coaches, and I kind of watched your development from afar, and I think I tried to convince you to come work for us a bunch of times without overtly saying it.
Yeah.
And then I remember when we were opening up our second location, and I knew it was going to be in Fort Myers, I started sending you all these cryptic messages,
What are you doing right now? What's your schedule looking like right now?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but I mean, I remember when we were opening up the second location, I was like, wherever we go, Wynter's going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter what I had to do to make that happen. You were going to be a part of our second location. How have you enjoyed coaching, like, in the shark bite world,
This could take up the rest of this. Take up the rest of the show. It's so different. The funny part is when I started in Cape Coral at the old CrossFit Cape Coral.
Yeah.
I was going to the 5 a.m. class.
Madness.
I was telling that to a member. I'm like, I don't know who I used to be, but I would go work out at 5 a.m. and it was awful. But again, the people, like, you're like, they expect that you're going to be there, and
5 a.m. is our busiest class. It makes no sense, but it is.
Blows my mind. I mean, I think once you're there, you're good, and that's what I tell members. Like, once you're there, you're good. It's like that travel from waking up to leaving your house. Once you leave your house and you get there, and then you're done, you're like, huh, okay, it's not so bad.
Yeah, because you walk in the door and the energy's high.
Right.
Like, okay, game on, I got it.
But it's like when you wake up and you're like, well, anybody really know if I don't show up today? Like, probably not. I'm just gonna go back to bed. So, oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it's been like a 360. I've done a whole lot of fitnessing in my whole life and just like teaching and coaching. And it's nice to have systems. Sounds super simple and like a way of doing things and following protocol and making sure that everybody's on the same page. And that makes a huge difference, like for me as a coach, but I know it makes a huge difference for the members too. They're getting a consistent message and they know, like, no matter who's coaching, what class they're going to, that it's going to be a high quality class. They're going to actually get coached. I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, we all kind of operate under the idea, like, our happiness is a function of our expectation, and if we know that the service is going to be good when we show up, if we know the coaches are going to be on point, they're going to be in a good mood, they're going to be ready to correct us but still encourage us every single time, it really makes it a lot easier to, like, come to class.
Right.
Right. I know that sounds crazy. And then, like, I was a coach for many years. I know how nice it is to know that I'm doing the right thing because I've been taught to do the right thing.
Right.
And everybody around me is as well. It's awesome.
Yeah. I think that the hard part too is, as a coach, you sometimes miss that element of getting coached. And so it's nice to be able to jump into classes and actually like just have you yell at me for something, because I'm like, I don't know, just like the members don't know. Like I feel like I'm doing one thing, but you're like, no, you're not doing that thing, and I'm like, oh, how do I fix it? And then, okay, fine.
Almost 10 years into this now, I still feel the same way.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's a requirement for all of us to be in a certain number of classes per week, and it's more because like we need the coaching.
Oh, yeah.
Like I love getting coached.
Yeah.
I love hopping into one of your classes and having you correct me on toes to bars.
Yeah.
Like that's my specialty, and I can't see myself. Like you can though.
Right.
I love the idea that I get to have qualified coaches who are like encouraging and supportive, and will also sometimes tell me to get my head out of my ass when I need to. Me and Chris Morgan could talk about what happened to me during Cali Bear last week.
Oh boy.
He just stayed next to me.
I think the same thing happened to everybody during Cali Bear last week.
Like I love that. I love being able to get into classes and being coached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's those workouts too. Like I'm dreading today because I have to work out by myself, and I'm like, I guess I could go to 6 p.m. if I wanted to. You know what I mean? It's just like now I'm used to working out with people. Where when we were shut down, I was used to working out by myself, but now I'm like back in the flow of working out with people, and I'm like, I just need somebody to push me. You know what I mean? Like I just work better chasing people. So when I'm going on my own, I'll just be like, like check the box today, get the workout done.
Yeah, but being in a group is almost always a better setup.
100%.
Yeah, totally. Okay, cool. So you are the client success manager for Fort Myers, right?
Yes.
Talk to me real quick about what it means to be the CSM. Like, what do you do? How do you help our members? How do you help the gym?
My main thing is making sure everybody's happy.
Yeah.
So not even inside the gym, but outside the gym. Like obviously everybody has lives, jobs, kids, other responsibilities. The fact that we're so tight knit at our location makes it super easy for me, because I know if you haven't been in class. Like I don't need to look at the check-ins. I just know. And the fact that I'm kind of all over the map, like I coach at 6 a.m., I coach at 9:30, I coach at 4, I coach at 6. Like I know if you haven't been here, so it makes it really easy for me to just reach out and say like, hey, what's going on? I haven't seen you. 9 times out of 10 when I do that, that person shows up for class that day.
Yeah.
I'm like, wasn't trying to guilt you into coming, but if that's what it takes, like I will do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to make sure that everybody's happy with the service, happy with their classes. If they set goals with their goal reviews, to make sure that they're actually on track to meet those goals, and then just making sure that once they do achieve those goals, we're moving on to the next thing.
Yeah, I think that's so important, right? The idea, like, I was having this conversation with Lauren, actually, and we were talking about how, like, there's so many different things you can try to get better at inside of, like, CrossFit and functional fitness, that it really helps to be directed.
Yeah.
And once you decide the goal you want to go to help have those steps laid out, right? Like, I personally think that's your most important role. People will know where they want to go, but they don't totally know how to get there. Like, you help them get there. And I love that.
Yeah. And it's like making a to-do list. Like, you can sit there and make a to-do list, and then you're like, well, shit, what do I say? Like, now I have 20 things written down, and I don't know what's most important. You know what I mean? And that's just, like, on a daily basis for, like, errands you have to run or something. So imagine, like, I want to get better at toes to bar, I want to lift heavier, I want to run faster, I want to do this, I want to be able to keep up with so-and-so, and then it's like, cool, how do I get there? I don't know. And then, like, people get to the starting point, and then that's as far as they get, because they're just like, I don't know what the next step is. And, like, our portion is to get them to that next step, or show them, direct them to get to that next step.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I call coaching.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just go faster and then let me turn the clock on. It's, you want this thing, how can I help you get this thing, right? That's what you come here for. That's what we want to give you.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So, funny story. When I announced we were going to be opening up Fort Myers, and we brought some coaches on, and we brought some new members on. Within a week of me taking over there, we had to shut the entire gym down, physically close it down, get rid of all the equipment, and turn everybody into virtual training members.
Fantastic.
Right? Yeah, within a week. What was that experience like for you? What was it like being a virtual coach? What was it like trying to, like, adapt to a new gym and a new leadership structure and a new everything, while also providing that service for our members?
It was crazy, but that's where a lot of growth happened. So especially with the virtual coaching, it's just something I hadn't done before, and it made me realize people learn differently. So, writing out a workout, setting a video, and thinking maybe the person, if they've been with us for a while, they know, it could be like plank or something, and then they're like, oh, can you send me like a video of like exactly what you want for the plank? Like, should I be on my hands? Should I be on my elbows? Should I be like side plank? Should I do that? And I'm like, so people are, they see something written and immediately it clicks, or they're a visual learner and they need to see that done. You know what I mean? So that gave me a different perspective of like, usually I read something on the board and I can put 2 and 2 together and I'm like, okay, yeah, like I know what that is. Where some people need to actually see it done to get it, to feel it, to understand what they're supposed to do, and then they'll be able to like feel if they're doing it incorrectly or feel if they're doing it correctly.
Yeah.
For me, it was super hard though. Like I am a people person, and like that just wasn't doing it for me. You know what I mean? I go from talking to like X amount of people a day and seeing you and like making fun of you and picking on you, and then it's just like I would just try to make my videos really funny. And like my dogs were always in the videos, and there was I feel like it was either Taylor or Megan. We were like talking about this the other day. And my smaller dog like started like hacking up a lung like in the middle of the video. It was just like choking, and I was like, "Please hold." And I like waited. I'm like at the end of the video, like I'm not gonna re-record this. I'm like, I apologize. I'm sorry. So I mean, it was fun. I think it just like showed how to communicate in different ways. Everybody was going through the same thing. Most people were not like physically going to a job or physically going like to work. So I think that like communication and just like reaching out was important to them just as it was important to me.
Yeah, I think that's probably an undervalued portion of that, right? Like I know I felt it with some of our members. I was the only person checking in on some of them sometimes, you know, and we weren't talking about workout stuff.
Right.
You know, we were keeping each other's heads on straight, myself included. Yeah. I needed it just as much, you know. But like from a coaching perspective, I agree with you. It forced me to develop as a coach in ways that I wasn't prepared for. And I don't think no matter what we tried to do, we could have prepared each other for that, you know. But you're right. I mean, one of my guys was Joe Carey, and
Joe.
I love Joe. He can barely read his iPad, you know. Like, so getting him the appropriate stuff, working with Danny and Beth and all the different people that I had. I remember multiple videos I had to send out to members. Wiz and Penny, my dogs, would start barking 75% of the way through,
of course.
and it's like nothing I can do to get him to stop.
Yeah, sorry.
Guys are gonna have to hear over this, and then I would get jokes back about how I couldn't get the dogs to shut up. It was fantastic. But yeah, that was super cool, man. And I'll tell you what, the Cape Coral coaches had worked for and with me for a very long time, right? We had a lot of, I think, built up loyalty equity there, you know? You and Brian and Sue had really no reason to trust me and that what we were doing was right.
I mean, you know, there's a pandemic. You just go in with blind faith at that point. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
You know, I love that because I felt like the bond created in the Fort Myers gym over that time was so damn tight. Like we could never replicate that again.
I'm like, if you start off at that, like, it literally can only go up from there.
Yeah, right. I mean, you can't have a more stressful event than that.
No. And the Zoom classes were super fun.
Were
I was
they?
actually surprised. Like, besides, like, you know, Wi-Fi connection and stuff, like, I don't remember what the workout is, but I remember you were coaching, and like I had my laptop set up in the garage, and it was running, of course, and I'm like running out, like running back, and then I hear you like, nice job, and like running in ball slams, and I'm like, oh my God, he can. I'm like all the way in the back of the garage, he can still see me. So like, as much as I was like, this is not gonna work, like I'm not gonna be. It was fun, and then again, you get to see people's faces and like talk to them, like. The fact that was just like so important to me.
I remember the first Zoom class I coached. I can't remember if I was the first one or if Jim was, but the first one I did, I remember I sat down afterwards and I was just like, oh my God, I missed that.
Yeah.
I missed that interaction. I missed cracking jokes. I missed coaching people. I missed like people telling me they can't do something and me being like, shut up, yes you can. Like I missed that so much. I remember my garage was set up and the way the sun was for the afternoon classes, I had to set my garage to like 3/4 of the way down. Or you would just get sun glare, you know? And I couldn't really see you guys, so I had a TV set up behind my laptop, and I would go up to the TV, and I'd be like, trying to like see all the way into the pixels. I'd be like, let's go, Kenny! Yeah, but it was so much fun. And it was weird. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want to go back to that.
I was like, it was good for needing to have that happen. But I think it like also built up the anticipation of like getting back. And again, for us, like, I got to meet a ton of the members before we were even open, like, obviously from Cape Coral. So I, like, established a relationship with them before ever having to be here or, you know, I probably might not have because I'm never really over here. So, like, I got to meet a ton of members that way and just, like, shoot the shit with them after if they wanted to hang out.
Yeah, it's amazing. We picked up friendships I think we didn't really mean to or didn't expect to in very unexpected ways.
Yeah. And, I mean, since you loved hosting trivia night so much, we should probably do that again. Plug. Honestly, though, that was so fun. Like, when I listened to Chris's podcast and him and the snacks, like, I'm like, how many snacks are you going to eat? Like, it's only an hour, dude. Like, what is happening? It was a lot of fun, though. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, trivia. Were you on the time when I hopped into the private rooms and caught Joe Carey asking Alexa for answers? Yeah.
No, I think he was like asking his son the following week or something.
Yeah.
You're like, he got docked points. Like whenever TV's on, he's asking Alexa.
Oh, that's great.
It's just funny, like you see people's strengths, like, and then like, oh, this is definitely the answer. That was like completely like wrong, but like. My favorite part was like the faces, like name this like actor or actress, and we were like, "Who the hell is that?" Like I don't know who that is. Oh, it was so much fun.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, we did trivia every Friday night during quarantine, and we would get between 20 and 40 of us on there, and be 2 hours of
nonsense.
of just pure and total nonsense, and that was the most interaction.
Yeah, I'm like, so. I wasn't going out, so I was like, okay, I can sit in my PJs and watch Chris Morgan eat snacks, and this is fantastic.
Yeah, man ate so many snacks. Okay, so very few people know this, and I think honestly, very few people would believe this, but you are a self-described previous introvert, right?
Yes.
How did that change? Because I don't think anybody would ever describe you as an introvert now.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, growing up, like, my grandmother would actually yell at me because I wouldn't look people in the eyes when I would talk to them. Like, I was just, like, always just afraid to be me. I don't know why. I don't know if there's, like, something that happened in my childhood, like, not to get deep, but I was just never comfortable being me. I was, like, the jock in high school, but I was friends with, like, the nerds. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't get along with, like, the people that treated other people badly. I was like not about that, so I was like in my own little category. Like I hated going like lunchroom, having to sit at a table. Like I hated that. If I was like could go in the bathroom and like eat my lunch, I would.
Yeah.
I think when I went to college, I was like, here's my chance. Like I can just be me. Like I'm goofy as hell. I like to pick on people. Like I've been known to just drop it like a top in the middle of a workout because a good song comes out. Like, and I felt like okay, I can kind of reinvent myself a little bit. And then it just continued, and it's like when I first got into CrossFit, that was fine. You know what I mean? It's like when you have a good support system and people around you that are like, you can be goofy, like that's why we like you, and you can, you know, be yourself and not have to worry about, like, I just always cared about what people thought about me, and I felt like I needed to be a certain way or like present a certain image to be accepted. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, you know, my goal in life is just to make people laugh and like make people smile, and that's what I've always wanted to do, and I think I have so much built up from like not doing it when I was a kid that I'm like, every day I can do that is like the best day ever.
Yeah, so Chris and I were talking about that, right? It's the, like in our job, we just get to make people have fun all the time. Like you can't get better than that. Yeah. You know, we get to have people come in here, they're having a stressful day, they're having a rough time at work, they're having a rough time at home, they're tired and busy, and they walk in here, and I know we've talked about this, so I know you feel the same way. I'm just like, I got an hour to make this guy's day fantastic.
Yep.
You know, or 30 minutes or whatever the session is, but like my clock's ticking. Right?
Yeah.
My sole goal now is to make these people's time in here as fantastic as possible. Mm-hmm. And I think, because like, I was an introvert too.
Yeah.
And I know that most people wouldn't believe that about me either. Yeah. I'm weird as hell. Yeah. I know that. And in this...
You are weird.
Yeah, I'm not hiding it. In this environment, we get to really be ourselves, right? Like, where else could we act the way we do? And be, like, accepted by everybody
Absolutely.
around us, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, we could talk about that one for 2 hours.
But that's the thing, too. Like, on the other side of coaching, like, that's accepted, too. So it's like, I can be myself in class, and I can also be myself when I'm coaching people. Like, they know I'm going to make fun of them a little bit. Mm-hmm. Lauren.
You know what I mean? Saying?
Yeah, but then like, you know, pick on me too. Like it's all in fun, and it's all because I care. Mm-hmm. My coach, my basketball coach used to say, when I stop talking to you and I stop like yelling at you and I stop like having expectations from you, then you worry. But like as long as I'm like on your ass, it's because I care and I want you to do better. And like that's just how I live. Like I just want people to know, and I'll tell them too. I'm like, you know, I'm just messing with you, right? Like I just want you to have a good time. And the same thing, like when I go in, I want that to be the best hour of their day, but it's literally like the best hour of my day.
Yeah,
I like count down. I'm like, I can't wait. Who's coming to class? I'm checking like every hour, like who else is signed up? Who's coming? Who's not coming? And you know, it's exciting. It makes it exciting.
Yeah, like I don't get to coach all that much anymore, and I'm the same way. If I'm coaching like at 9:30 or 4, like I coach tonight at 6 in Fort Myers, and I'm literally checking who's coming to class all day because I cannot wait to get in there. Our job is to educate, inspire, and entertain, right? Like that's a really important part.
My favorite part.
Where else do we get to act like we're on a performance like that all the time, you know?
Yeah.
It's super fun. Okay, so like this is, I guess, kind of connected to that. Like, what do you love most about being a coach? Like, why is that your calling?
The relationships, 100%. I've always had jobs or been around industries where it's serve first, like serve others first. And I think I learned a lot when we were in quarantine, but I need people, you know, like I was not okay. I was not in a good place. And if I didn't have like the Zoom classes and I didn't have people to check in on, like, and just send like funny videos, like I probably would have been in a really bad place. Like, as much as I know as a coach and like I'm sure you know as an owner, like we inspire people a lot and we motivate people a lot. I don't think the membership knows how much they do for me.
Right.
And I'm sure you feel the same.
100%,
like,
yeah.
You know, they think we're trying to make them have a good day, but they don't understand, like, that interaction back is what makes us have a good day.
Right.
And, it, you know, it goes back to, like, what Chris said. You have to care. You have to care as a coach, and if you don't, like, you're in the wrong thing. Like, if I feel like I didn't give 100% or I feel like I didn't coach the best I could, like, it bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel like somebody didn't have a good time or if I didn't get to interact with somebody as much as I did other people, like, it bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I take that stuff home with me. It's not just like, oh, cool, we're here for an hour, we're done, and then, like, on to the next thing. Like, that's what I think about. Like, I can't go to sleep at night sometimes when I have to coach at 6 a.m. because I'm like, all right, like, what do I want to go over? What's important? Like, who signed up for class? What do I want to touch on? Like, that's the stuff that keeps me up because I'm excited to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the members know, like, how much they actually do for us.
I hope so. I hope they do. I that's something we're definitely noticing in all these interviews with all these conversations that probably the most common thread between good coaches is like how much they really care about the experience and what the members get out of it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, I know I've said this to you and in every other staff member we have, it doesn't matter how much like money you make if you're not getting an intrinsic value from this, you know? Like this is the kind of job where you just won't be happy.
Right.
And I, like you said, we get so much out of that. Like I selfishly want more of that. I want to take all of that.
I'm like on the way here. I'm like, just don't cry. Like don't be that person who gets super emotional. It's just like, I love you guys. But like even with our Bright Spot Friday, like I have so many. Yeah. Like mine's like a novel, and I'm like, because so many things, like amazing things happen during the week, and even if the members don't think it's cool or amazing, like I'm like, oh my god, like. I start a list. I literally start a list on Monday, and I have it in my notes so that I don't forget anything, and then I forget stuff anyway, because I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot this happened. Like, so many things just get me so pumped every week.
I don't know if I've said this out loud before. On Fridays, sometimes, so on Fridays, in our members-only Facebook groups, we do something called Bright Spot Friday, and everybody talks about some successes they've had throughout the week, in the gym or outside of the gym. Sometimes I'll just sit there and read through them. Yeah. Like, it'll be like 7 o'clock at night on Friday, and I read through every single one of them because I'm like, man, this is just, I get to leach so much good energy off that, you know? It's so cool. Okay, cool. So, 2020 was
my favorite year.
rough year, right? Rough year. Like, but I know that I talked about this and you've talked about this and we've all talked about this. Like, it wasn't a sunk year. We learned a lot, right? What do you take from that year and that experience most? Like, what did you learn the most? How did you grow the most from that?
I think the most important thing for me is that it's never too late to grow. Like, that kicked everybody's ass. Like, 2020 kicked everybody's ass. There are very few people that got to stay in their comfort zone and be like, I'm good. Like,
that's a fact.
My life hasn't changed at all. Like, it changed a lot of people's lives. I think it brought people together. I think it strengthened, like, relationships. Like, you take it for granted, seeing people every day. Mm-hmm. And, things happen where you're like, never go to bed mad or like let people know. Like I'm more concerned about letting people know how much they care. Like I care about them than I ever have been before. Mm-hmm. Just because it could happen again. Who knows? I'm literally getting goosebumps right now. Like, it could happen again. And I never want a situation to happen where somebody doesn't know how much I care about them. I'm not really good with words in person, so I send a lot of text messages. Yeah. But I just appreciate people more. I appreciate you get in a routine. And you forget, like, the little things matter a lot. Mm-hmm. And, like, I will look and I'm like, it's beautiful outside today. I'm like, damn, we get to be in the gym today. Because I remember what it feels like when we weren't able to be in the gym. Right. And it sucks working out by yourself sometimes. Like, in a hot garage. Without any pants on. Without any pants on. So, yeah, I don't ever want to take those relationships for granted. Even with coaching, I feel like you can get in a routine and it becomes kind of monotonous, and it's never like that. It's every day I truly look forward to, like, going in and seeing people and clients and hearing people's stories, and I've just learned to be a better listener.
That was a great way to put it, right? Because yeah, we don't ever want to take that for granted. I know, like, I will never take staff for granted ever. And I don't know if I ever did before, but I hope I did.
Yeah.
I know that after quarantine, learning from you guys, like, man, yeah, I'll never take that for granted.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are talking to someone, they're scared to work out or scared to start their fitness journey or to make a change in their life, right? Like, what would you tell them if you could help them
Just
down
do
that
it.
path? What's that?
Just do it.
There
Like
we go.
Nike. No, yeah, have faith in yourself. That would be the number one thing. Have faith in yourself. Like, every day, just do what you can. I think we get stuck in, like, we look at the best, right? Like, I want to be Tia Claire to be like, well, I'm here. You know what I mean? I need to be realistic about those steps if it's going to happen. One day at a time. It's literally one day at a time. Like, there's running in today's workout. Here we go, the central theme. And I'm like, the only way I'm going to get better at it is just show up. Show up on those days where those things that I'm not great at are there, which is every day, and continue to push forward. And one day turns into 1 week, turns into 1 month, turns into 1 year, and then you can't remember what your life was like before you worked out. There's just always time for it. There's always time for it. And when you get in a community like we have, you won't want to leave.
Right.
Plus, I'll know if you stop coming.
Yeah, I would say it's like the trick, like the secret behind it all, right, is that, like, it's really fun, right?
Yeah.
And because it's fun, you want to keep coming back. And because you keep coming back, you get really good results.
Yep.
And because you got good results, you're like, this is really fun.
Yes.
And it just keeps on going like that.
Because even if you don't like the exercise, you're going to like the people.
Yeah,
So
right?
it's going to be one or the other, and probably both. Like, you're going to, like, oh, I really hate doing running, but, like, I'm here with so-and-so, they're really funny, so, like, it's fine.
Let's be clear, nobody likes doing burpees, right? Like, no one likes doing burpees, but you like doing burpees with your friends.
Right.
So that's the best way
Friends
to put it.
make everything better.
Yeah. Cool. Wynter, thank you so much. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
If anybody wanted to find you, how could they?
Come to Shark Bite Fort Myers.
Awesome.
I'm there. Or
All the time.
or all the time. Or on Instagram, train2live_32.
Cool beans. Thanks. We're gonna get you on here again.
I can't wait. I have so much to talk about.
Awesome.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us today on the Shark Bite Show. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram at Shark Bite Fitness and Nutrition, or on our website at sharkbitefitness.com. If you'd like to find out more about our guests, their information will be in the show notes. If you'd like to talk to us about getting more fit, feel free to schedule a free no-sweat intro at one of our locations in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, or Naples, Florida.